Hello, everybody. Welcome to Paint Zoom.
Hello, Professor Elin.
Hello. This is too silly. We'll start the way we usually do, which is to do a little bit of, do the background painting, and then I want to see what you people have done over the week while it dries, and then we'll come back and finish off the foreground, and then you'll show me what you have done. Has everybody got a sketch? Here we go.
I do have a sketch, but I prefer your frog to my sketch.
I do too. How can we get that frog picture?
Yeah.
I haven't got it up on the website because I was going to do the doc up until this morning. And I can get it up on the website, but not before class, obviously.
I think what I'm going to do is practice follow your techniques and practice everything and leave the space in the middle for the frog. And then over the week, I will trace the frog.
Okay, that will work. I will put up the frog.
If you don't have a frog, it's a lot like chicken.
We're not eating them. Before we do that, I wanted to talk a little bit about reflections, and I wanted to share screen. Alrighty, I'm going to share screen, and I'm going to share this. When we think about reflections, we think that they are mirror images of the thing that we're looking at. In fact, this is an actual reflection. But here's an actual mirror image. I did this in Photoshop. I copied the flower and I just put it upside down. And you can see that's not really what you see. What you see is this, not this. And the importance about that is that we tend to want to paint what we think, not what we actually see. I learned this painting a heron many years ago. And because the heron is flying, I thought I could just do a mirror image, which is this one. You see, that's a mirror image. Now, when I actually did the tracing, like on the website, okay, so the one on the right is a mirror image. The one on the left is what I traced when I did the tracing from photo to sketch. And as you can see, the one on the left, you see a whole lot more of the back wing, the inside of the back wing. You don't see as much of his neck and head as you do on the right side at the bottom, because again, it's not a mirror image. It's the perspective that you would have if you were, where? Wait, if you're underneath, yeah, if you were standing 6 feet underneath the water, looking up at the bird, you would see what you see at the bottom of the left-hand side picture. Yeah, but so that's what a reflection is. It's what you're seeing from underneath the water, because the water is sort of doing the seeing, if that makes sense. Okay, so whenever you're going to do, and this one is on the website, not the mirror image one, the other one. And you can only do this because of the wonders of Photoshop, that you can see these bizarre things. So I want you to keep that in mind when you do reflections. It's not as noticeable with the frog. If we can go back, I can stop share, right? If I can get Sanadea focused. Okay. When you look at the frog, he looks pretty, he's now upside down. That's why I put the arrow. But you can see more of his back than you can. I mean, the back of the frog comes right practically to the side of his mouth, whereas on the right side up image, not the reflection, his back is, my whole pinky from his mouth. The same kind of, he has a much nicer expression actually when he's upside down, I think, than he does right side up. But his eyes are a little bit different. You see more of his head when he's right side up, when he's in the air, not when he's the reflection. And so you can see different things. Here you're looking right at the underside of his chin, so you don't see as much of his head and his face. It's almost like his chin, and then there's his forehead. I mean, not that frogs really have foreheads, but you know what I mean. Whereas here you see his nose holes. I don't think he has nose holes here. So there's a difference in what you look at when you're looking at a reflection as compared to when you're looking at something that's made upside down. Okay. So now we're going to paint, and One of the reasons I love the frog is he uses a lot of my favorite color, Gamboge. And I'm going to do a background. And I didn't spray my paint box. There's my sprayed paint box with green and my other things. And my water. And I'm going to stick some Gamboge here in this in case I want to mix it. But I'm probably not going to mix it. I'm probably mostly just going to use it. And I think I'm going to use a flat brush because I'm going to cover a lot of space. At least that's the idea.
Can you use a foam brush?
Yeah, you can use anything that you feel good about. There's lots of people who are very doctrinaire about what brushes you use. I'm not. And this is sort of wet on dry. And the big thing to remember is to do it down below as well as up above because we're doing reflections. It doesn't have to be exact because it's not exact. Nothing's exact, especially not in the art classes I teach. So now I'm going to take some of my green that I'm going to mix in with my Gamboge. Come right close to my frog. And I'm not going to worry about my stick. There we go. And over on the other side, I've got sort of a pinkish, which doesn't come out here, which is interesting. But we'll use some pinkish anyway. Again, the reflection is not the same as the thing in space because somehow the frog, there's more pinkish on this side and that's not that reflection. But here it's all just green. So this must be further back than we're getting, than whatever is being reflected here. So that's also interesting. Okay. And I've got green. This is this green that I've been using for the last couple of weeks. It's still the same green with a little more water added, and then it gets too wet, and so then I add some green, and then it's too light, so I add some black.
Hey,
Yes? Was that a question?
yeah, does the green have a name?
It's a mixture of Hooker's green. You asked that on purpose, Marilyn. Hooker's green and black.
Sorry.
No. Like I said, I didn't name the paint. I just use it. It's a very nice green. And maybe I'll stick a little pink way up at the top and just pretend that it was there. Ooh, that's making it brown. And on the photo, we saw that there was pinkish here, pinkish and white there on the reflection. And as you see, my brush is pretty wet. And because everything is in soft focus, we're not going to worry too much about it. Oh, I don't like what it did here. It did some hard things here that I don't like. And when it does hard things like that, you get clear water and wet it down and it'll get on hard. At least that's the theory. It doesn't seem to be working. But water will cure most ills in watercolor. If you've painted in other media, you paint over it. In watercolor, you dissolve it, and you sort of take things away. I don't know what experience everybody's had. I know some people have, Diane has painted in acrylics and is very good at it. I also was doing some work that I wanted to do. And I did one of these tutorials on YouTube, and it was a watercolor tutorial, but the guy who gave it is an oil painter or an acrylic painter. I don't know. I think he's an oil painter. And what became obvious to me is he thinks about watercolor the way people think about oil paint. So that's interesting. If you start out doing watercolor, you'll think like a watercolorist. And if you start out doing oil, you'll think like an oil painter, which is probably why my son-in-law thinks that this is really hard, whereas I think oil's really hard. I want some more pink up in that corner. And I want some more water on it with it. Oh, that's too much. But it's also true in watercolor that if it looks good when it's wet, it's going to be very dark, very light when you get done. So it should always look a little bit too bright when you put it on. And since this is my water slide, I don't mind having ripples. Okay. I think he's pretty good. Not quite around his head. His head looks too. Ooh, don't use your brush the other way. Okay. So what have people done over the week? Can we go back to Cal review? Yes. Since I've been painting, hi John, hi Marilyn. Not Marilyn, hi Lynn. Well, hi Marilyn, but she was on already. Hey Day.
Hi.
Hi Galaxy 59. Oh, that's Virginia.
Yes. I know.
You're on twice.
I know. I've got this so incredibly screwed up. Let's see if I can get out of this.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. We don't care. You can be here twice.
Well,
We're
twice
fine.
is-
Twice as nice.
Twice as nice. Like you have said, too much of a good thing is wonderful.
That is true. Right.
Okay, what do people have that they did over the week? Marilyn has something. No, Lynn has something. Marilyn and Lynn are,
Lynn.
you did your rose again.
Yeah, I made the vase a lot smaller and the rose a lot bigger. And I like
Yes,
it a
and your
lot.
vase has more shine to it. Your vase is more
Yeah.
reflective. Very good. That's
Well,
nice.
I got another one I just finished too.
Uh-huh. You're in your kitchen and you're not in your paint room.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Nice.
And you tried that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and I
That
just had
flower.
the one flower and I decided it needed a lot more.
Yeah. Well, you did it.
Nice.
It looks
Mhm.
great. That's
I
beautiful.
like both of these. I think I like this one the best though.
Yeah. Well, it has all these interesting curlicues,
Yes.
which are very interesting and very good. And the
Yeah,
flowers are
I'm
good.
making a quilt and I'm quilting it with all kinds of curly cues. So I'm in a curly
Curlicue
cue.
space.
Yes.
That's good. Okay, great. Who else? John,
I have this.
you have this.
This is my, can you see it?
Ooh.
Oh, yes. Very nice, John. You did the violet.
Right.
And I like your background way more than I like mine.
And yeah. I
It's
like yours a
really
lot.
nice. Yeah. And the flower is good. It's realistic. It's vibrant. You preserved your white on the fifth petal.
It's hard, I can tell you.
Yeah, I know. That's why I picked it.
You know, I can tell you an experience. I was trying to use gouache and another flower painting to kind of overpaint to get a white.
Yeah,
It did not work.
it did not work.
Oh
No,
my God.
gouache
It
is
ruined the whole painting.
yeah. You know the best use for gouache is when you have something you want to get rid of altogether, and you paint it and you let it dry 24 hours, and then you can go back and paint over it.
So
But if you do that too often, then it turns into mud.
it was mud, yeah.
It was mud. Yeah,
I'm gonna gouache this man right out of my
but this
hair.
is very nice. Don't gouache this man out of your hair. I like this man.
Yeah, I can show you. I also did some homework for this week.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh my goodness.
Ah,
Wow.
that's beautiful. And we've had a number of paintings of that scene, and this is a delightful one and very different from
Very
some of the
nice.
others. Yeah,
Needs a little more work, but
and no, it's wonderful. Now we're going to have to see what you do today.
Excuse me, how long has John been painting?
Not very long.
John, how long have you been painting?
since half a year, I don't know, something like that.
Right.
Very good.
Yes, very
He's
good.
very patient.
Yeah,
Yes.
slow.
No, you're patient, which is a very good thing. We have other painters who are impatient.
Guess I have too much time on my hands.
Okay, Karen.
Everybody else is busy working, see?
Well, not now.
No, I was just raising my hand that I am impatient.
Oh, you are impatient.
Oh.
Well,
Okay. Shall I show you mine?
yes.
Okay. My foxgloves.
He's got his slurp already.
Oh.
Ah,
Ooh.
lovely. Yes, that was the one you started last week.
Uh-huh.
And I come a bit closer because what I was really, really happy with, and I've forgotten the name of the technique, but
A little bit lower. Hold it a little bit. She's showing the bottom though. Yeah.
Yeah. Just looking at the leaves.
Kind of translucent.
Sure.
What's the technique you showed us last week? I forgot the name of it.
Charging, where you have wetness. Yeah, and you put some paint in it. That's called charging.
Oh.
Okay, I am very happy about my charged leaves.
Yes. You get a charge card.
My charge card got into really good use here. We've got the center of the leaves, which I scored
With
down.
your credit card. Mm-hmm.
And
It's
then,
very nice.
we use a little bit of salt.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, to give it a bit of texture for the inside of the flower.
Just to make it rough.
Flowers and stuff could have done with a slightly thinner paint.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't so happy with that, but I was happy with the leaves.
Yes. Very nice.
Very nice.
Very
Mhm.
well done. Very well done.
Yeah.
Who else?
Mm.
All right, I have one.
Oh, good.
Okay, so,
Please.
no, yeah, there we go. So these are lily pads,
Oh, yes. Very
Nice.
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 and I used your the salt technique on the
Uh-huh.
background. And in fact, my paper, this was a while ago, but the paper is still kind of damp.
Yeah.
Wow.
It takes a while to dry.
Is that from underwater, looking at a lily?
Yeah, underwater looking at the lilies, and then this is the sky up in here.
Got some good detail in the lilies over on the left.
On this one,
You're right. And that's got some really great detail.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side, I love where you had the salt. It makes it look like bubbles in the water,
it does.
which
Yeah.
is very nice.
Yeah. I like the effect the salt does.
Yeah. Yeah. For people who weren't here, what's that, 2 weeks ago that we were doing salt on.
Well, we did something last week where we were supposed to let it dry overnight, and that was
Mhm.
rock salt, but I don't have rock salt, so I just threw on a lot of salt,
So that's just table salt.
just table salt.
Yeah. Okay, good. Good. Well done. Anyone else?
Well, let's see. This is Stay In. This
Diane.
is the last one I did. Can you see it?
Ah, yes, yes. Did you get rid of your green? Your background?
No, that was a different one. That was
I meant your Zoom background. I can see that you
Oh
have,
yes, yes,
because we can see your painting beautifully.
yes, yes, yes. We got rid of the Zoom, the green. Yes.
Yeah.
But this was the last one I did.
That's very nice. I can see the scoring in the petals.
Okay.
I can see the veins of the petals, and I can see the charging going across from the one color to the other color. Really
Okay.
nice. And the same thing in the leaves. Very nice. Very good.
Well, thank you.
I
Thank
would, next time round, I would use a wetter brush or for the background,
Yes. wasn't
or wet the background first,
okay.
and
Yeah.
then do it on damp paper. But it's a really nice painting.
Yeah, because
You
I
did a
think
good job.
I was much more pleased with this one.
Well, the color is nice.
Yeah.
The background color is really
Okay.
much more cheerful. But they're both beautiful. They're both beautiful. You're doing really well, Dan.
Thank
And
you.
it's so wonderful to actually see them.
And these were the leaves. I don't know if you can really
Yes,
see.
yes.
Nice.
Yes, yes, very good. And your practice leaves. Sometimes the practice things are really satisfying
Yes, I would say so.
because you're more relaxed.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Very
Thank you.
good.
Thank you.
Very good.
I did a banana last week with our little girls from the Netherlands.
Ah,
Oh,
They wrote to me and they said, we can come to the class tonight. I'm thinking, oh no, there's no class.
there's no class tonight. Oh dear.
So we did bananas, but I can't find my banana.
Oh,
I don't know where it went, but I did.
did you
paint
eat it?
well, if you find it between now and the end of the class,
Okay, I'll show you.
show it at the end of class, because we would love to see it. On Jonathan, did I answer your question? No, his chat thing has gone off.
Oh, yeah, you did. Thank you.
Yeah. I spray the paint because these have been in here for a long time and they dry, and they're watercolor. So what you need with watercolor is water. This is just pigment.
Before you even start.
Yeah, it's pigment, and so I wet them, and they're not really very wet. Where's a scrap paper? Let me illustrate. For class we use, I don't know, 9 by 12 inch paper. But I don't have any 9 by 12 inch boards left. So, or I do, they're just 9 by 12 inch boards. See, this one hardly got wet at all. And it's very thick, the paint. where there's more water, you get more transparency because this was very wet. And so you get a lot more transparency.
Right.
And that's one of the delightful things about watercolor is that it's transparent. Now, this is thick, can always be solved with water. You can always solve everything with water until the paper breaks down.
True.
And then you can't solve it anymore. Then you're sunk.
So
Although they're sunk.
Right. I could go back over this brown background
Yeah,
with
try it.
water and lighten it up.
Yeah, or you could put a tissue, ball up a tissue and stick it over the flower to protect
Okay.
it,
Okay.
and then spray it
Oh, okay.
with your handy dandy spray bottle,
Okay. Okay.
like this kind of thing. And you may get some. See, now this part is more dry, and this is really wet. This is dribbly now, and it's dripping all over everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And your tray card, do you just what's the easiest way for you to clean those out?
Clean out the tray?
Yes.
There.
Just wipe it.
Just wipe
okay.
it.
The other
Because it's
one?
already wet. And if it dries like that, you just spray it, or this one comes apart. So, well, it doesn't when it's been painted,
okay.
and so you can just wash it.
Okay.
It's enameled tin.
Right.
Now, a lot of people have plastic, which is even easier.
Yes, it is. And the plastic card, you just spray it and wipe it.
Right.
The green. Okay.
Right. But I am so incredibly cheap that I use paint forever. Does anyone else have a painting? Marilyn, don't you have a painting?
No, I didn't do anything this week. I showed everything I had to show last time we painted.
You've had 2 weeks, Marilyn.
Uh-oh.
Shocked. He's usually quite prolific.
Yes, she is. Uh-huh.
Erin? Sally? No?
Uh-oh. I think everybody went on vacay.
Well, that happens. That happens. Diane has something? Okay, great.
I did. Can you see this okay?
We will in a minute. Yes.
I did this. But
You used saran wrap.
actually, I used a plastic bag.
Plastic bag.
Uh-huh.
Basically the same idea.
Uh-huh. Nice.
I forgot.
How did you do that?
I forgot about this. We were doing something, and
Yeah.
I used this pencil. We were doing a flower, and I used a pencil. And
Right.
I didn't see it when I did this, but I saw it when it was. This is used for Easter eggs.
Oh,
Crayon.
wax paper. Yeah, wax crayon.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I want to do the hydrangeas.
Yes.
And what I'm going to try to do is to cover that. I might not be successful.
You're gonna need another piece of paper.
Yeah.
The wax has to go on before the paint.
Yeah.
Could
Okay.
you use
And-
that wax as to reserve a white?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can use regular crayon to do that, especially cheap ones. Hold it up.
I did this. I haven't finished. And I did this.
Oh,
Very nice.
lovely.
I haven't finished.
Well, this is the beginning. This is reflections.
Yeah.
Or are you doing fog?
You said I like fog for some reason.
I like fog too.
It's
I like fog too.
beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Not what I mean, painting fog.
Yes, being in a fog. Although I frequently am in a fog, but being.
You're not alone. I didn't paint this, but I started this today.
Yes,
wow.
very nice. Very nice. That's beautiful.
I need to do. I started off in black and white, and then when I looked at this picture, this painting, it has a little bit of burnt sienna or something around the tree.
Yep, and you're capturing it.
And I said, wait a minute, here I go again with black and white.
Well, that's okay.
That's really nice.
It's nice. It's very dramatic. It's very good. And then, the little ring around the tree, that's very good.
And it's really not the same, I don't think. But
It doesn't.
It's your interpretation.
We don't do things that are the same.
Yeah.
We do things that are reminiscent of.
Uh-huh.
I need to add more tree. And I'm sort of messed up down here, so maybe I'll cut it off.
Or you could make it like a drift, a snowdrift, a shadow and a snowdrift. But you might want to cut it off.
Okay.
I might do that. I do that.
I need to do more color. I did this with a watercolor pencil.
Cheating, yes, but lovely.
Lovely indeed.
Oh, that's very nice. Uh-huh.
This was done in 2005.
Well, it's still nice.
Thank you.
It's still quite
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Actually, I have something, but I'm not quite sure. I'm on my smartphone, but I have a picture of what I did, which I left upstairs on the screen that's in front of me, but I'm not sure I can quite turn it so you can see it. Can you see anything there besides me? Probably not.
Yay! Hi, Virginia.
Now, you can't hold this in front of your face, whatever it is?
Well, the problem is it's on a screen. I left it upstairs when I came. It's a long story, but at any rate, I don't have it with me. I have the image of it that I had photographed earlier today, but I'm not quite sure how to make you see it because this is facing me now. If I turn it around the other way, I don't think
We see it.
Oh,
We see it.
nice.
We see it.
Okay, good.
It's beautiful. And in fact, I used that for our the video from last week.
That looks great out of the garden.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's lovely. It was lovely then. It's lovely now. I think you did a little more work on it. Yes.
I understand. I need to do more. Anyway, that's me.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes, that was nice.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, just a second. I'm a little slow here. Sally, you have something? Spotlight video? Sally?
Hello. No.
Hello.
No. No. I've been knitting.
You've been knitting. That's allowed.
Is that allowed?
Yes. Do you have a painting?
No.
No.
I'm doing something different to your frog though. So hopefully, if I get this done, that will be something to show at the end. Yeah, I'm actually just trying some water reflection on the water because I really like John's water reflections. So I was actually just trying a few sort of contrasting ripples in water.
Excellent. Then you'll have something to show at the end of the class.
Maybe.
Or you will be knitting.
I'm not knitting now. I'm painting now.
Okay, very good. Okay, anybody else have anything? Carolyn, Erin?
No.
Nope. I'm going to spotlight Sanidea. Here we go. There. So we're back to the desktop. And here's the frog. And he's pretty dry. He's not exactly dry, but he's pretty dry. And he is sort of beigeish with green. I think he's burnt sienna, very thin burnt sienna. And then he's got a lot of black on him. He may take 3 dryings. We may not get him done. Because that black should go over the burnt sienna without slobbering into it. Do we see what I'm talking about? And I didn't think about that until this very minute. Oh, well, here we go. But we'll do some charging to get this nice shadow in the beige and here. And then, of course, the same thing on the bottom. And then I think we can charge with some green on the top. Let's start with the top because we've got so much green. I think that this green maybe is too dark. I'm going to add some yellow, I'm putting green all over my canvas. So here we go. Matt, you and Helen didn't have anything to show me.
Sorry. We'll show you something at the end.
Okay, that'll do. That'll do. Okay, so let's do the top of his head. This is probably going to be, oh no, that works pretty well. This is too big a brush. Get a smaller brush. This is good. Okay. I mean, I can do a lot with big brushes, but some things just need to be a little bit smaller. So here we go. And in fact, this brush is now pretty dry, so that I actually picked up some of the green that he had. So now I want to get this beige going, this beigey thing. So here's my burnt sienna. And I'm going to add some water to make it thinner. And just a hint of blue to gray it out a bit. Oh, Chris is bringing me my slurp. He's such a sweetie. Because John already had his. I saw that.
Yeah, he didn't offer us any.
No, he never does.
Class. We need a.
Okay, so now I've got my sort of beige. I think some more water. And I'm going to have a pretty wet brush here. And I'm going to do, sort of his nose down to here. And do all this part. And this sort of beigey thing. And in fact, I think I'll do his whole body in this beige. Except for his back, but his whole belly. And now, because I'm going to do some charging. We talked about that last week. I'm going to grab a little bit of black, very little, and I'm going to add that. That's too much. So here we go with water. And that comes right up over his nose, over his throat rather, up to his nose. And it actually goes over his nose into the green. So that's his shadow. And this side of his body is shaded. So that's our charging. It went into the wet paint. And he got a little bit of a boundary here, which I don't like. So there he goes. Somebody's drilling. And
It's crazy teenagers.
green on his foreleg. He's more yellow in the back there. He's green here. And again, we'll charge this with just a hair of black so that it just floats in. There we go. And now his leg is sort of a dark yellow, so I'm going to add some of the straight gamboge and maybe add a little bit of burnt sienna to that. My burnt sienna mix. So he stands out from this background. And again, we'll charge it with a tiny bit of black. Charging is just adding a color to an existing wet paint. I don't know why it's called charging. But you have to have the paint be wet or the paper be wet before charging is going to appropriately blend, because you're trying not to get a hard line. You see here this is a hard line because this came in. I mean, it's okay because it's in the background, but there's a hard line here because this was wet over dry. And so wherever there's hard lines, that's true. Now, like I said, in the background, it doesn't matter. But when you have shadows, you sort of want them to blend more. Okay, so that's that side. The other side is very yellow. Let's see if I can I get that where you can see it? You can sort of see it. Can you sort of see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of, just sort of. Okay, maybe I'm going to move to a more matte yellow for this side. This is yellow ochre, which used to be my favorite yellow. And now sort of isn't so much anymore since I discovered gamboge. And while it's wet, we have a shadow in here. shadow along here. And just a hair. And while my black is wet, let's give him some eyeballs. Now let's turn them over and do the whole thing on the other side. And of course, regardless of what was in the photo, I have to do the frog on the other side, the same as the frog on this side. So this was Gamboge. Actually, I did the reflection first.
Oh.
Doesn't matter. But I can tell that I did the reflection first because there's more back here than there is here. And that was one of the things that we noticed. And his back is more green. So I'm going to take this sort of yellowed green and do his back.
Do you ever paint them at the same time, Elin?
What do you mean?
The reflection and the actual, let's say frog in this case. You know, like if you're painting using the yellow now.
You mean, do I do all the yellows all at once?
Yes, exactly.
No, I don't ever do that. I know painters do. Some painters do. But I am not that anal about my colors.
Okay.
We've talked about that before, that I'm not anal about my colors because I always believe I can recreate a color.
Okay.
And I also believe that you mostly don't need to exactly recreate it.
Yeah, surely.
Because most of the world is not the same color. Most of the world does not conform to the Crayola crayon box. Most of the world has lots of different colors in it and gradients of colors, you know, that aren't all the same.
Right.
And so I don't get upset if I don't have all the same color. Now, where was my shadow? My shadow's on this side. Whoops, don't put your brush in your wine.
Oh, no, you don't want to do that.
No.
I don't know. And maybe not much about it being anal, but this, in a way, seems like it would also be easier to do.
Well, you can do it that way. I mean, I'm fine with people doing things that way. It's just not.
Yeah, your way.
It's not the way I find it intuitive. I enjoy the playing with paints. I'm not very grown up, you know. I'm still a little kid. I like playing with paints. I like seeing what the paint will do. Like he's much yellower on this side. And I'm going to say to myself, well, that's because that's in the reflection.
Okay.
And I noticed that he's got a little tiny bit of red on his nose. And that his green and his yellows blend some. And my background didn't quite come down low enough there. Okay, so now let's make this a little wetter. And this is the side that's in shadow. So I take my little bit of black and I dot it in a little bit more black. I also am challenged by my mistakes. If I don't make mistakes, then I don't learn anything. I mean, that's me. Many people learn from like watching videos and watching classes like this, and I learn that way too. But the things that I really remember are the ones where I've screwed up. Okay. I said, well, I'm not going to do that one again, and I can't do that if I'm too controlled.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because I don't make enough mistakes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And Chris can testify about how many mistakes I make. I do lots of mistakes.
Oh.
I'm the third husband.
Third time lucky, right? Here's a little bit of red on his. Whoa, that's a lot of red on his nose. And we got to put a little bit of red on the. Where is your nose? I've lost his nose. There's his nose. Oh, his nose is sort of flopping over into his chest. Let's just make it look like it wanted to be that way. That's not bad. Now he's got to have eyeballs too, huh? I also seem to have to do everything twice as much as anybody else has to do them. That's why I had 2 paintings prepared for today. 2 sketches.
Prepared.
Well, sketched.
Yes.
So, I'll say, so this is, whoa,
Oh my.
that sounds like a bird. This is yellow ochre. This is too thick. I like more transparency. As much as this guy's got, but more than that has. Okay, this is too thick.
Can you still see your pencil marks? Because we can't.
You're not supposed to. Yes, I can vaguely see them. In fact, these pencil marks, because they were for the video, are much darker than I normally would make them. Normally, when I do my pencil marks, I take my handy dandy kneaded eraser and I just blot it, and then that picks up a lot of the pencil. So it's not even as dark as it is when I first put it down. But I realized that on the video, the pencil marks don't show. So I've got to do something about that. And so I went over these actually twice, which is why some of them are a little bit irregular. Okay, so now I just pulled paint off because I didn't like how much paint there was. Take a little paint off his nose here.
I like the white space between the reflection and the front.
That's his branch, and I think it was originally sort of a brown branch, but I think I'm going to have it be a birch branch. So it's white with you know, some black.
All the way across, is it?
Yeah, he's sitting on a branch that's floating on the water.
I see black there in the picture.
Here?
Yeah, in the picture.
In the picture. Yeah, I'm taking liberty with the picture.
Oh, okay. You're allowed.
Thank you. Oh, here's not too bad. He hasn't got.
Closed to riders during the pandemic. After the meeting, he told ABC7, "The reality is we have to protect."
Somebody's getting you muted in a minute.
Focus on that first. Plus,
I'm sorry.
If you find yourself muted, it's because we thought that it was you that had background noise. And you can always unmute yourself once, and please don't do it until the background noise is gone. But where's my green? There it is. So here's my first pass at my frog.
Ooh, very nice.
Oh. And I'm going to, is he going to get dry enough for me to put black on? I'm not sure that he is. I'm going to repair my background a little bit and hope that he dries some.
It's a female.
Well, because I can't put in the black, his markings have a lot of black. And
Question.
Yeah.
As a principal, in terms of thinking how to do this,
Yeah.
Is the reflection part in the water, obviously the same colors, but just in a more muted?
Well, it depends on the picture. It depends on the painting. I mean, some paintings that's true of. Other paintings it's not true of. That's a big help, right?
That's okay. I'm just learning. You know, I have lots of questions.
No, I love questions. I don't know what's going on with people unless they ask questions. And then I don't, you know, because when you've done something for a number of years, you forget. You just think something is obvious, and it's not obvious because you know it because you've been doing it forever. And other people don't know that. And so I love questions, and I want people to ask questions.
Is the reflection lighter or darker?
The reflection is sometimes lighter and sometimes darker, depending upon what's going on. In this one, I think the reflection is about equal, but this is fuzzier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, this does not have a lot of focus because the way that, oh yeah, I'm holding it. I'm holding it toward the monitor that I watch as if that was seeing something. So this is a little bit less in focus than this is. And what I would do, what I have done in the past, and I would probably do with this one because it's the reflection is so clear, is that I will take a brush and I will go across it like this and mess it up some so that it's more
You
obvious.
mean with a dry brush or with a wet
No, with
brush?
just water.
Okay.
So that it blurs it a bit.
Yes.
Because this is so clear. That's why I have an arrow. You can hardly tell which is up and which is down.
So the reflection would have something to do with the atmospheric pressure of the picture, in the sense that if everything's quiet, it should be more.
It's more reflective.
More accurate reflection.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a clearer
Yes.
reflection. The slower the water, the less turbulence in the water,
Right.
the clearer the reflection will be. If you look at the one I didn't do, you can see here, this is where the reflection is. And so you can see that while here you can really see the reflection of these poles, and you can sort of see this pretty well. Here, where the water is banging up against the pier, it's much more broken up.
Yeah.
The lines are not as clear. The poles end here, and this is much less clear. So that's what, and that's because that is more turbulent water. I'll show you what I mean. Let me just get that in, because I don't like that. I don't like that part right there. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, so now which was our reflection and which was our air? This is the one with more back. This is our air. So I'll do this, even though I haven't gotten to do the black in it, because it's too. I'll just do his mouth, because you can't even tell where his mouth is. And this you might want to do with the liner brush. Whoa, not got any paint. Yeah, it's still wet, because it's not being crisp. You know what I mean? That's just so you know where it is. And that's too dark because it's flowing all over the place. It's okay. Wipe it out later, and I'll show it to you next week. But what I do to indicate the water is, here's my flat brush, here's my clear water, and this is another reason to have two waters, so that you don't put your yellow that's in this one or your green or whatever's in that one. You have some clear water. So then I just do this.
That's the reflection.
And that's the reflection. How's that? Does that help? Does it look waterier?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
If that doesn't work, and that's when you say, is this darker or lighter? In this particular one, it's the colors are pretty even. But I've done paintings. There's one on the website of a heron standing by across from a little tiny cabin. It's a lock house actually on the C&O Canal. And there I took a very thin black wash, and you could do anything. Yes. Let's do a green, because it's a pond. It's a filthy pond. Very thin, extremely thin, lots and lots of water, and go across with that.
Yeah.
So now his pond got more algae in it than his air. I mean, there's no algae in his air at all. But because there's algae in the air, and then if I turn it sideways, it makes ripples. So now it's much more obvious which is the water.
What kind of paper are you using?
The same stuff we always use. It is 140/300 paint paper, and let me get the pad. Diane has the one brand, which is Kent, and I use this brand as well. And if they're about it's whichever's cheaper. The other one is a blue one.
Who's the manufacturer?
Premier.
I'll get the one I have. I'll be right back.
Yeah, Diane has the other one, and I use them both interchangeably. It's sometimes one is cheaper and sometimes the other one's cheaper, and so I buy the cheaper one, and they're basically the same. I have got supply list that you can buy if you want to buy, if you haven't got supplies. See, that's the kind of branch I'm going to put under him. That nice white with little bits of black.
Sure.
It's cold press.
Yeah. Yeah.
But will you
No, it's hot
actually
press.
would you actually put some white paint on and then the black, or
No,
not?
no.
Just do the black.
I have preserved a lot of white here.
Yes.
Except over here in the yellow, where I haven't. And so that I will pull out. Like this. Making it wet and then blotting it. Then making it wet. And blotting it. I don't like to use white because white tends not to be clear. It tends to be opaque. Now that said, there is a point at which you want to blot things out. So white is delightful. It's just like I tell you, you never use black, and then I use black, right?
Yes.
I tell you things, and then I break those laws.
Find there's some colors you just can't blot out.
Yes, staining colors. You can make them less, but you can't get rid of them. Okay, I'm going to say he's done. He's not done because he's not dry enough to put the black markings on him. But he's a frog. His mouth is sort of bad. I'll probably try and get rid of that. But I want him to have a mouth, but then it all because it was all wet, it just didn't stay crisp. We'll see him next week. See how he looks. So what did other people do? Yes, people are going to show me things.
Here's the paper.
Okay.
Hanson.
Are you doing this? Am I doing this?
Does he see it?
Oh, no. There we go.
Oh.
Okay.
And is that cold press?
They're both cold press. I said, no, I think they're both hot press. They're not either of them cold press. Cold press is bumpier.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh.
And I'm finding that it shreds pretty easy too.
But what? Cold press?
The cold press.
Yeah.
Thank you, Deanne.
Yeah, it's more
You're
delicate.
welcome.
I've been using this. Is that not right?
If you're using something else, that's okay too. Hold it up. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's probably more expensive.
Oh. I thought it would be cheap.
No, I mean, people are free to use whatever paper they want to use. I use this because it's a good enough paper for what I do and what we do. It does shred after a while, but it takes quite a bit. It takes a lot of abuse. I mean, you can buy very expensive papers, but these are like $6 a pad, and there's what?
I like
But
that.
but I hope
30
that
sheets.
paper sheet. Oh, excuse me. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I like her number.
Yeah, $6.
$6.
And I buy them from Amazon, and they deliver them, and you know. Okay, who has paintings to show me?
No,
I mean, I love your pads, but I would rather see paintings.
I'm beating up on this frog. It's not coming along very well.
Okay, now hold it up.
It's going to require
Diane.
all week.
No, not Diane. Linda, who says Billy.
Yes,
Who says
that's
Billy. I'm having my slurp. Oh, that's good. No, he's starting. I like your background.
Yes.
You
Very
use
nice.
some phthalo blue, my nemesis. Okay, Lynn.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with the shredding.
You scrub too hard. Scrub less. But I love the personality of your frog. I love it.
Ribbit.
Ribbit.
Yep.
I have a dirty story about frogs if you want to hear it. I don't know it's
We're grown.
Yes, go for it.
You want to hear it?
Yeah,
Yes.
You know why frogs go ribbit, ribbit? Anybody know?
Why?
Well, when a male frog jumps on another male frog, that frog goes ribbit, ribbit, so he jumps off. But if he jumps on a female frog, the female doesn't go ribbit. But unfortunately, the male frogs jump on a lot of rocks. They don't go ribbit. And this is true. This is a true
And
story.
this is not a joke. This is a true story.
This is a true story. I learned it in the psychology of senses. Told by a very straight-faced professor, and I was the first one in the class to get it.
Oh.
Daunting.
My frog has morphed into a mountain. And so
Yeah, that's Marilyn.
To let it morph.
Oh, nice. I like the background.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see the frog smiling at you?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a girl.
It's a girl.
She won't go ribbit then.
uh-huh.
Yeah, it just morphed and I let it go for it.
Yeah. Good. Well done.
Okay.
Who else? No. No one else?
At the beginning.
Matt, you said.
Yeah, I got the beginning of one here.
Ah.
Oh, nice.
Still need to
Nice.
do something at the bottom.
You got that from the website?
Yep. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
eventually gonna be hopefully. Something.
Wow. Beautiful.
Oh.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Okay. That was done with salt, actually.
Ah. Oh, that's how they got that defining kind of line.
Yeah, that's why it has that roughness.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's coming along very nicely. It looks good. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it.
Are you going to go ahead and add some salt, man?
Out of the prompt.
Interesting.
I said,
Jonathan?
Are you going to add some
Oh,
salt?
sure, we can share. Sorry, were you going to say something still, Matt?
No, I'm done. I might add salt. I don't know. It might be a little late. It's kind of really dry.
Yeah. You could spray it. But you know, who knows what'll come out. Salt is one of those things.
Yeah.
Jonathan?
So we didn't pick photos from the prompt. We didn't do that part correctly, but we both had existing photos that we thought we were going to use. So here, I'll show you what we did.
Excellent.
This is, again, don't know exactly what I'm doing, but this is.
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
Anna's came out a lot better,
I don't
I
think
think,
so.
but I don't know if she wants to share.
Well, let's see Anna's.
So.
Yes. Yes.
So not following the prompt, but now we know.
That's okay. No, you don't have to. I just put those up in case, because people go, I don't know what I'm going to paint. I don't know what I'm going to paint.
Well, now we have for next time, and we'll check these things.
Well, I will put Jonathan on the email list, and you will get reminders, and you will get told when things are up and updated on the website. So, and I'll send you my supply lists, which you don't have to follow, but you may. Anyone else? Sally and Karen. Who do we get first? Okay, give me Sally.
So,
or give me some Karen. There we go.
I'm not sure it's worked. I'm just.
Waves. Yes.
Oh,
ripples.
Yeah, not quite right.
A little. Can you get it closer to the camera?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
I see the waves.
But it's not quite there.
Well, it's not finished.
No.
But you've got the technique down, which is really hard.
Yeah.
It's a really hard technique. I know.
Yeah.
And now Karen.
So I very quickly sketched something as we were getting started.
That's okay.
Reminded me of one of my trips to Scotland.
Oh, beautiful, Karen.
Oh, lovely.
Reflection.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it.
So done. I have to do the sky and define the castle a little bit, but
yeah. But that's where you are. We were at that for what? 45 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, well done. Well done. Anyone else? Louise? No? You're muted, Louise. You're muted.
Yo.
There we go. Okay, bridge. Yes.
Oh, bridge, tidal basin.
Yes.
Nice reflections and swirls. That's my inspiration. And so.
Oh, wow.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well done.
A heron?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Beautiful. Yeah, give you an applause.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
I've seen that scene. I drive by there a lot.
Oh, do you recognize it?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
The heron at the moment's got the resist goop on.
Ah.
And also here, that's still got the
Goopy. Yeah.
It'll dry. And then we can put a little bit more
Yeah.
That's excellent. That is beautiful.
Well done.
Your watercolor is much better than the picture. Gorgeous.
Yes, it is. It is. It is. And of course, it's bigger.
It's bigger.
Well done.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
May I ask her, when did she sketch it? She sketched it? When did she do that?
This morning. I took the photograph yesterday.
Ah, okay. It's very nice.
Yes.
Full size.
Yeah, Louise does beautiful sketches.
Absolutely.
And doesn't need the tutorial on how to get from a photo to a sketch. But getting to the sketch is often what inhibits people from painting. And so we need to get past that. And then after a while, you do more and more sketching yourself. And that's fun.
Yeah, you get braver.
Yeah. Okay. Is that it? Have we seen everybody's paintings? John? Lynn? Aaron? No? Okay.
Thank you again.
Thank
you.
So we'll see you next week, and we will continue with reflections of various sorts.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
And I'll show you the finished frog. Or I'll show you another frog if I can't fix his mouth. Take care, everyone. Have a great week.
Bye.
You too.
Here's looking at you, kid.
Take care.
Okay.
Stay safe.
I will email you when the video is up.
Okay.
Bye, Lynn. Bye, everybody.
Excellent.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Good to see everybody.